This is Edmond here from DevLess. So I just finished video on how you can edit your data before it hits the database. Maybe you want to change a few values in there, append a timestamp, convert strings to uppercase, and all of that. Um, I wanted to go sleep, but I felt like, wait, let me just add one more video, edit all of them tomorrow, and then add to the documentation. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining um, how you edit. Now that we've looked at how to edit values to get into the database, let's look at how you edit the response DevLess brings back to your front end. And really, with this particular one, depending on how you are using DevLess, if you are using from the SDK or you are using the HTML SDK, that is, depending on the kind of method you are using to get to connect to DevLess, this might be useful to you. So first off, I'll start with the HTML SDK. Let's see how mutating the response can be beneficial to us. First off, I'll continue from the example we had from the previous tutorial, and hopefully before you get to this tutorial, you should have walked through the earlier ones, as this makes things much more easier for you as you go through this tutorial. So here I basically have a form picking data from this form and then sending it users service and then the profile table. So every data ends up in the profile table, and then up here I'm querying the data. In between that, I am printing out response that DevLess brings out. Now, if I go here, you see my table here, and that's the service name. Now, what I want to do is, what if I want to change the default message that DevLess sends back? Let's see the message that DevLess sends back once I added a user. Let's do James 45, and we add an input. We add an email for James at Gmail. Go ahead and then add this. Great. Now see this. This is the message from the DevLess backend, and probably chances are this is not what I want to show my users. I want them seeing this. So one quick way I could change this is by adding the DevLess success and failed message directive. So I could go like success. So this message would only show once it's been added successfully. So I could go like profile created successfully. Created. Let's just leave it as profile created. And in case it fails, we could go failed, and then go like profile could not be created. And then I'll drop in a nice emoji here. Well, sad emoji that is. And then now I can take this off. Great. So I'll go ahead and head back to my front page, refresh this, and then now attempt to add a new record. Let's try Royce. That'd be age. Okay, sorry. That should be a number. So you're dealing with ages. And then for email, let's do royce@gmail.com. Go ahead and then add this, and then you see now my custom message is what shows up here. Great. That works if I'm using the HTML SDK, but most often developers are using the DevLess Android SDK, the PHP SDK, and popularly the JavaScript SDK. In those fashion, I wouldn't be able to add a custom message from here. I would want to do that from the rules, and I'll show you in a minute why you'd want to do it, how it's done from the rules. Sorry. So let's just try and add one more user using the API console. So the API console kind of helps me mock requests that gets to DevLess. So here I can add values here and then see them get to DevLess. But before we even use the API console, let's try and mutate the response message. So all I have to do is head right down to the after create action, and then go like mutate response, not capital, response message, and then I can add my new message. I could go profile updated, and then I add a smiley emoji. Shoot, what did I just do? Alright, back, and then go ahead and then save this. So I'll come back to my front end. Let's bring this back here, and then I can drop both of these because I wouldn't need them anymore. Great. Go ahead and save this. Head back to my temporal page, refresh that, and then there's no such method. Mutate response message. Perhaps you meant the other. Yeah, this is what I meant. Let's go ahead and copy this. What did I do? Let me just go ahead and copy this method because this is what I need. That's DevLess helping me out here. Alright, so I'll go ahead and save this. And let's try and refresh. Alright, it seems everything is okay. And I'll go ahead and add a new user at age 12. And then email, that should be gmail.com. And now I expect the mutated message to be what shows up here, and that's what shows up here. And this is also true for APIs, the API endpoint. So if you are using it from the Android SDK, whether it's PHP SDK or the JavaScript SDK, you should be getting the same thing out. Let's do Lola at age 45. I think 45 is just too common. I've used it many times. Go ahead and clean this up, and then Lola. Oh, that should be the name, and this should be the email. Great. So I'll go ahead and run this, and yeah, as you can see, so whoever is using the SDKs would also be receiving the same message, so it's going to be in sync. So when you're building your web and a mobile application, you can send a common message using right from the rules section. And the response message is not the only thing you can change. You can actually change the status code. So I could be like mutate status code. Right, and I could change the code to 222, and this should replace the custom 609 message. So I just change this slightly, go like leave the timestamp as such, do 67, here it should be, and then I'll go ahead and run this. Alright, so now I see my status code has been mutated. Well, I wouldn't recommend changing the status code, as most of the SDK depend on this to perform its to act upon its callback. So it looks at this status message to know if the actual message failed or not. And just like we can mutate the status code, you should also be able to mutate the response payload, that is. So with the payload, I could pass in, let's say I want to return more details, as like let's just do more info. Yeah, more info, Jesus Christ, more info. And then as part of more info, we'll send out some info. The keyboard is really messed up. I think I need to stop using the external keyboard. I can't really use the laptop keyboard, else to just make so much noise into my video. Alright, so I'll just create, if we have yi, then we should have yang. So we create yi and yang. So we have yang at 77. Go ahead and save this. And DevLess is yelling again. It's telling me I got my mutate payload wrong. So I'll go ahead and replace this. And then save. Come back here and let's run it again. Good. So now I got my payload back. So in case I want to send something back when the request is done, I can mutate it. And I think that's pretty much it. Well, okay. So they are. So there's this debug. There's this debug. Actually, okay. Before we talk about the debug dump, one other one we can look at is the stop and output. So maybe sometimes you do not want to get through the whole execution process. Say let's get the data, and after that you mutate the response. Maybe you want to generate your own response. This could even be prior to querying. Maybe you just want to end the execution here and then output something. You could do that right here. So let's say I want to do that. I'll go ahead and then type stop end output, right? And I go like, sorry, and then I go like, my response code is going to be 222 or 333. What the heck is happening? 333. And then my message is going to be my default message. Is that how it's spelled, default? I don't really remember. It's default. I don't know if this is it or not, but it's fine. And then I can give it whichever payload I want. I'm just going to pass in an empty array in this instance. So I come back here, make the same attempt, and this time it doesn't even. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, we are not querying. All right, so this is the create action. So you see, I appended this stop on the query method, so it's going to happen when it's about to query. As a matter of fact, let's move it down to just when it's about to create. Save this, and then now it should stop midway. It's not going to go ahead and then create it, and then you see it stops with this. So maybe I can perform some function instead of performing the default function. I want to perform some functions and then just stop and output my default payload back to the front end, whether it be an Android app or a web app. I could just stop and then output here. But sometimes I'm just doing my development work and I want to output something real quick. You can use the succeed with method. It just takes one parameter, that's say your output. So let's just say I'm converting a string to uppercase, or let's do lowercase, right? Let's say it's my name, and then I'm converting this to lowercase. I'll store this as, then store as output, then store as outputs. Lastly, this is not mandatory anyways. I could leave out this lastly statement and everything's going to work fine, but I just like it as it makes my code more readable. Okay, so go ahead and save this. Before creating, go over to lowercase, then store that, and lastly output that. So this is like a quick debug message. Succeed with allows me to see what's happening immediately. So my name has been converted to lowercase. It appends its own default status message. So you'd use succeed with more whilst you try and write your rules and debug up and down, blah, blah, blah. So that's what it's used for. So I think we've covered it all. Mutating your response, stopping and outputting your response before it even queries the database for anything or performs any database action. And then finally we've looked at the succeed with that allows me to debug whilst I develop. So yeah, hopefully this video has been very useful. I don't know if I'll sleep tonight because I want to power through other. Hopefully you'll be listening to subsequent videos that I'll be recording tonight. Thank you.